Have you ever finished a programming course, but felt like your portfolio still looks amateur? Today I'm going to show you the difference between a beginner and a valued professional. It isn't just about how the code works, but how it's built. I'll guide you through transforming a simple Java project into a high-level technical showcase, applying clean code, testing, and documentation that actually impresses recruiters. Let's move beyond the basics and start your professional journey. Welcome to the Career Code Journey. My name is Cindy de Albuquerque, and in this program, I bring tips and strategies for you to become a valued Java professional. Today's episode is how to make a good impression with your first Java project. Who am I? I'm your Java expert in Ireland. I've been working for 18 years as a software engineer. I've worked in many companies from startups to big companies like Amazon. I started as a meteorologist and then I transitioned to a career in tech. Today I'm going to give you the step-by-step guide for you to develop and present your first Java programming project. My goal is for you to have a project that not only works, but also professionally showcase your dev skills and impress potential employers and collaborators. My idea is to go beyond a project that only performs a basic task. When you are preparing a project that will showcase your abilities, it has to be a very organized project. It has to have the right documentation and it has to have tests. My focus is on moving past the fundamentals. I'll show you how to implement practices that showcase professionalism and quality. This is a great opportunity for you because it's the gateway to the workforce. The projects you have in your portfolio are the concrete evidence of your skills. If you're changing to a career as a Java developer and you don't have any previous experience, then a professional portfolio is what shows you have the knowledge and the capacity to deliver quality work. This is how you are going to stand out among other candidates. With a well-documented and organized project in your portfolio sets you apart from the majority. If it has clean code, Git usage, and documentation, while the other candidates may have a certificate from an online course, you'll have something concrete to show. This gives you an immense advantage because it demonstrates that you have proactivity, dedication, and a level of professionalism that goes beyond the basics. If you don't have experience for a proper project, or if you don't know where to start, this is the right place for you to be. Most people start from scratch. You can start with something simple, like a to-do list application or a contact system management. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a to-do list. The important thing is the quality of the code, the documentation, and how you present your work. I'm going to show you the step-by-step process for creating something simple, but that still shows professionalism. If you have already tried to learn on your own, but it didn't work out, the problem is a lack of strategy. Many courses only teach the basics, how to make it work, not how to do it well. I'm going to show you the difference by teaching you not just what to do, but how to do it professionally. The techniques that I'm going to show you are the same that I use in my mentorship. When beginners are creating a Java project for their portfolio, they usually make these mistakes. First, lack of documentation. You have to write comments and have a clear README. That's where you explain what your code does and how to use it. Second mistake, having a disorganized code. You have to follow naming conventions. Pascal case for the names of the classes and camel case for the names of the variables, methods, attributes. You also have to separate the responsibilities into classes and packages. Most beginners don't do that. That's why their code is hard to read and to maintain. Third, not using a version control system. You have to use Git or GitHub to version the project and collaborate with others. This is a basic requirement in the job market. Fourth, ignoring testing. You have to write unit tests to ensure your code is working as you expect. Fifth, lack of a clear goal. Before starting your program, you need to have a defined plan and goal. The project becomes messy without a clear objective. Now that you know the mistakes, let's focus on the right way to build your Java project. First, define the goal. You have to choose a simple problem to solve. For example, a task management application. That's what we're going to do. Second, plan the structure. Design the project architecture, the classes, packages, etc., before writing the code. Third, Write clean code. Follow naming conventions. Camel case for variables, attributes, methods, Pascal case for classes, etc. Avoid code duplication. If you have to copy and paste, extract it to a method. Or if it's a different responsibility, extract it to a class. Use descriptive variables and methods names. For example, this is a bad code. Here, we don't know what list is, what T is, what the status one mean. Good code uses descriptive names, small methods, and prioritizes the reading. For example, this method list completed tasks. Whoever reads the name of this method can already understand what this method does without even having to look at the logic. But if you look at the logic, you can see that for each task in the task list, if the task is not completed, then we're going to print it. If the task is already completed, then we'll do nothing. It's straightforward to look at this code and understand what it is doing. Fourth, use Git and GitHub. If you don't have a GitHub account, create one and use it for your projects. Make sure you make regular commits. Fifth, document your project. There are two ways to document in your code. The first one is to put in comments into your code to explain what it's doing. Ideally, all the variables names, the methods names are clear and explain what they do. But if your logic is complex, you need to document it to explain how the code works. And then the second way to document your project is by using a README file. The README is the first contact the recruiter will have with your code. It's the face of your project. You have to take very good care of it. If your project has an interface, take screenshots and add them to the README. If it doesn't, you can take a screenshot of your prompts. Make sure you explain in a clear way what your program does. In summary, use your README to showcase all your skills, your proactivity, and your dedication. 6. Write tests. Make sure you create unit tests for the most important parts of your program. If you can use TDD, even better. I have a video showing how you can start with TDD. 7. Present your project. You can either create a GitHub pages or make a short demo video to showcase your project in a professional way. I created a checklist that I will leave here in the description of the video so you can follow and build your to-do list Java project. I divided it into 4 phases. First, setup and planning. Second, code development. Third, testing. And fourth, finalization and presentation. For the setup and planning. For phase 1, first thing you have to do is set up your GitHub. If you don't already have an account, create one. Then create your repository. Create it publicly so the recruiters can access it and give it a descriptive name. For example, Java Task Manager. Then, clone the repository from GitHub into your local development environment. Then create the project structure. I highly recommend that you use IntelliJ for developing, because it's already ready for Java development. You can use VS Code as well, but it's harder to set it up for Java, and if you are a beginner and a career switcher, you don't have time to spend setting up your environment, so go with IntelliJ. For the project structure, as soon as you create a project, IntelliJ already creates all the needed structure for it. Then, create a README file in your project's root directory. That's how GitHub will recognize it and it will render in your repo. Then, create a detailed description of the project, all the features, the problem it solves, etc. And then add it to the README. Typically, this will take around 2 hours, not more than that. Phase 2, the code development. First, you are going to work on the modeling. Create a task class with the attributes needed. For example, title, description, due date, and status. For example, pending, in progress, completed. Then you are going to create a task management class. This class will contain a list of all the tasks objects and some functionalities. The task manager has to know how to add a task to the list of tasks. It has to know how to remove a task given its ID. It has to know how to list all the tasks, and it has to know how to update the status of the task, given its ID and the new status. Then you have to create a main class for the user interaction. This class must have an options menu so the user can interact with the features of the Task Manager. Use a scanner to read the user input. Make sure you print on the screen very clear guidance for your user. Print the menu with the options at the very beginning of your code, so the user knows how to interact with it. Then you are going to handle the errors. Implement try-catch blocks so you can handle all the user inputs that are not valid. For example, if the user types a string instead of a numeric ID, your code has to handle it. And then you are going to clean your code. Review it to ensure all the variables and all the methods have descriptive names, and if there is any complex logic, add comments to it. Then on phase 3, testing and documentation. If you haven't used TDD with this project, this is the time to create unit tests. Choose a framework for testing. I highly recommend JUnit because that's what most companies ask. You can either add JUnit to your project using Maven or manually adding the library. For beginners, adding manually the library might seem easier than using Maven or Gradle, because you don't have to learn about either of them. But the truth is that most companies use either Maven or Gradle. So if you use this time to learn Maven or Gradle, it will help you. It's something much better to show in your portfolio project, and it's another highly demanded skill that you can add to your CV. Once you have JUnit in your project, then write tests for the Task Manager class. These tests have to verify the happy path for adding, removing, listing, and editing functionalities. Happy path means that they are working correctly. But also take this moment to think about the edge cases. Which inputs can the user type or that your code wouldn't expect? If you have 4 options and the user types 5, what should you do? How should your code work? In this example, if the user types 5, then you can show a message saying option not supported, for example. Once you finish the unit tests, add documentation to your project. Add Javadoc comments to all your classes and methods to explain how they work. Update your README with instructions on how to compile and how to run your project. Add also a feature list to the README. Make sure you do this thinking about how the recruiter is going to compile and run your code. If you make their life easy, they will like you more than if you didn't. Then on phase 4, finalization and presentation of your project, you are going to do the refinement. First, ensure your code is consistently formatted. Camel case. All the classes are with Pascal case. All your methods, variables, classes are well named, simple but informative, so whoever takes a look already understands what your code does. Then, proofread your grammar and all the spelling in your README. Push it to GitHub. Use Git to commit your changes. If you haven't pushed or committed yet, now is the time to do it. Ideally, you should commit and push as you develop. But if you haven't done yet, commit your changes, all the code, the tests, the documentation. Then use git push to upload your changes to the GitHub. Then this part is optional, but it shows professionalism if you do, which is the portfolio creation. You can create an online portfolio, for example, a simple website, a LinkedIn page, or a GitHub page to showcase your project, and then include a link to your GitHub repository in your portfolio. And then prepare to present it. Practice explaining your project clearly and concisely for a recruiter or colleague. Make sure you highlight all the techniques and the best practices that you used. Did you like this video? Would you like me to talk about another project to add to your portfolio? Please tell me in the comments, and my next video might be about another project. Share this video with whoever you think might be benefited from these tips and strategies here, and please subscribe to the channel.